Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Talk Kashrus, brought to you by the Kashrus Awareness Project in conjunction with Torah Anytime. Today we have the schus to be joined by R Shmuel Fuerst, Dayan of Agudas Yisroel of Illinois. Thank you so much to the Rav for being here to discuss various Inyanei Kashrus. So the topic I'd like to discuss with you first is the kol kaira that the Rav signed in regards to home businesses requiring a hashgacha. That if someone has a business run out of their home, they should have a kosher certifying agency, and a letter went out signed by the Rav and some others. And I'd like to hear some of the background. What prompted that kol kaira? What did the Rav see that you felt that it was imperative for this statement to go out to the public?
The reason we signed this kol kaira is because there's been a proliferation of many home businesses, especially since COVID. After COVID, the businesses continued, and we felt that it's getting out of hand. You know, one or two people did it, but like in Chicago, there must be at least 30, 40 vendors that started the business, making challahs, making cakes, making kugels, all these other different types of foods, chocolates, and so on. And it was just not one or two people, it was many people. So we felt that it's getting out of hand, and we know of people who make mistakes. Mm-hmm. Therefore, we decided there has to be some type of hashgacha on it. And even though Eirachin and Misurim, the Shem Mitzvahs and so on, but all the stores, what's the difference in a regular store that's open? Has to have hashgacha. If it's a fum yitz, you have yitz nichnas. So here also, all the stores should be, all these private vendors should have a yitz nichnas, and they should set up with their Rav in their community, and there should be some type of hashgacha on it.
So one issue at a time. What are the halachic pitfalls that the Rav has found people who run a business out of their home? What are they encountering? What are some examples of issues that, like the Rav said, a Shomer Torah mitzvah, someone who's ehrlich and means well, but they're just not equipped when they're running a business out of their house to know with regard to kashrus?
The facts are, human nature is, when people are pushed to a corner, then they do sometimes things b'di'evids, things even worse than b'di'evids, because they have to, client made an order, and you have to have, let's say they run out of oil. Where you can get oil? 2 o'clock in the morning, they're baking, where you can get oil? So you might go to a store and buy a oil from not a proper hashgacha, or not hashgacha whatsoever, and say, listen, what could be wrong with oil? And they don't realize that a lot of oils are made in treifik kalim, and a lot of oils are not kosher. So therefore,
the Rav's example actually is a perfect segue to something that I wanted to ask. The example, they're cooking 2 o'clock in the morning, it's a home business. Yeah. They taka have hashgacha. Yeah. The hashgacha is yotze v'nichnas. Right. So mashgiach comes sporadically, I don't know how often would be necessary. Hopefully the homeowner does not know when the mashgiach is coming.
You should not know.
You should not know, otherwise there's no mirsis, right? But if they're cooking or baking at 2 o'clock in the morning, how much does it really help to have a yotze v'nichnas hashgacha?
The mashgiach, let's say, comes in 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He goes in there and looks at the ingredients, looks at what are you using, what salt, sugar, whatever, or type of ingredients. So he sees all the ingredients. Mm-hmm. We're not choshish, they're going to bring in some tray for chicken and start doing some cooking. That much, hopefully they're firm enough, they won't do such a thing. Mm-hmm. But the ma'ase is, there should be someone be oimer al gabav. There shouldn't be just tam hefker.
Was the Rav concerned at all, and this is something that here at the Kashrus Awareness Project, we heard some people murmuring about the fact that, a kol kaira like this, it might lead to loss of business for these people. I said these yichidim, many of them really rely on it seriously.
I think it's going to pick up business. I think people will have hashgacha. People feel more comfortable to buy there. Mm-hmm. They know there's a kosher Rav that's on top of the situation, a kosher organization that's on top of the situation. I think they'll even gain more business.
Now, just to go back also to something the Rav already alluded to, and this is also a common reaction to the kol kaira, and that is, if I would eat in the person's house, same exact person, they're making the same food, maybe even in the same kitchen, because not all the businesses have separate commercial kitchens in their home. They're making it in the same kitchen with the same ingredients, the same people. So on Monday, I would eat in their house because of Eidach and Bisurin, but on Tuesday, I can't eat this woman's babka because she sold it to me for $10?
The reason is once you go into business, then you become a negevadava, and there has to be some type of mirsis. Someone has to be looking on top of them. It's no different than a frum store that has the cooking in there. You know, stores on 13th Avenue, 13th on Lakewood over here. These stores have to have hashgacha. They're all frum people, but once you come, you're doing business, you're making parnasa from it, then you come in the Gebedava. Once you come in the Gebedava, you're in a different realm already.
Right.
And you should have hashgacha then.
Right. You're saying that
no matter how frum, doesn't make a difference how long your beard is, how long your pace is, how often you go to the mikveh. It doesn't make a difference. You have to have hashgacha. Someone who's in business with food has to have hashgacha. No ifs or buts.
You're saying there's a nisayon, like the Rav was giving an example where the big orders coming in, and people are expecting, and sometimes these very well-meaning people will either cut corners or compromise on their standards because they're under financial pressure, other pressure, and things like that.
But if they know someone is standing over them, they'll be more careful.
Listen, our hope is, as the Rav said, our hope is that not only will this kalkari not hurt the proprietors,
I think it'll help them. I think it'll help them. That people will feel more comfortable to buy by them.
Right, and especially now, we've heard in the street that many of these home businesses, Baruch Hashem, are doing phenomenally well, and caterers and party planners are even using these types of products.
Right.
And our hope is that they will all get hashgacha. As far as the financial outlay is, from the Rav's experience, is it very expensive for a home business to get hashgacha?
I don't know about other cities. I tell in Chicago, it's very cheap. They have the home business, they're charging very cheap prices, and hashgacha is not that much, and it's worth it for them. And they could live with it. I don't know how they're doing in other communities, but I can tell in Chicago, it was made very cheap. The mashgiach goes in there at different times of the day, not the same day, but they spread out. Of course, we're dealing only with Shomer Torah mitzvahs. This whole idea is only by Shomer Torah mitzvahs. If it's a business that's by goyim, would have a yotzer nichen is no good. If someone who's not Shomer Torah mitzvahs, you can't trust hashgacha. You need a mashgiach t'midi there.
Right.
We're only talking about Shomer Shabbos people who are trustworthy. We're only talking about such a type of way to have a business that's surviving, and Baruch Hashem, in Chicago we could say that it's being well accepted.
I'm just curious, one final question. Does the Rav feel comfortable for a home business to be run out of a person's personal kitchen, or would you recommend that they have a completely separate operation, even if it's in their house, but it should be separate?
I would like to see, first it depends on each community. In Chicago, I'd like to see, and I told the Kasha organization, I would like to see they should be in a separate place. In the basement, separate. For baking and cooking, what they're doing should be separate, not the same kitchen oven they're using in their home. It should be separate completely. We even have people who are willing to fund it.
Really? Wow.
Fund it, so they should have a separate facility, in the basement or wherever it is, set aside with their ovens and whatever they need it, so that they should do it properly.
Okay, thank you.